Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm on another walk. And today, on another slightly damp, grey, miserable looking day, but warm, actually quite mild. We've had some cold days recently coming to the end of January 2021, and I'm out for a walk. I'm visiting a place I've been to many times, and that is Washington, down near the A24, north of Worthing and south of Horsham. Well, quite a bit south of Horsham, of course. And I'm up here by St Mary's Parish Church, which is a lovely church, and I've walked around there. I don't think I've ever been inside the church, so that would be something for a video later on. Whilst I'm here, just going to say hello to 5-year-old Hugo, who I believe he and his family have recently moved into Washington, who've been in touch and said they love what we do, they love the walks around Washington, and they'd like to meet, so I'm sure that would be possible. But the purpose of today's video is I'm trying out a pair of gaiters that were given to me by a very lovely chap called Barry. So I'm looking for a muddy path to give them a whirl. There's a muddy path here which I could do, and it's on a slope, but it only takes me down, I think, to the bottom of the village, and then I just have to walk up the road. I think there is a muddier track to try, which is over the other side of the A24, a busy road. Luckily we go across a bridge for those who are not familiar with the area, and then we walk up the slopes of the South Downs towards the South Downs Way, and I think that would take me up to the top. It does mean again, to complete a circle, we'll have to come back down the road, but that's okay. The main test is to see how the gaiters work. Now, I should point out, I was very kindly given some boots by a chap called Jeffrey. Well, I was going to try them both out in today's video, and I put the boots on. I put extra socks on because I knew the boots were a bit bigger than my normal size, and unfortunately they're still too big. So Jeffrey, if you're watching, I don't know what to do now, because the boots, there's too much sliding about of my clearly little tiny feet, my size 9 feet, so that's a shame. So I don't know if you want them back, or if I can pass them on to somebody else with size 10 feet. I haven't walked in the mud, so they're still in a pristine condition. I've walked around the house and then just here where I've parked up. So it's a bit of a shame. Anyway, I'm just crossing the A24 here, and then I'm going to turn left and get into the mud and see how the gaiters do. What I understand about gaiters is they're supposed to protect not so much the boot or your feet, which in these case, the boots I'm wearing, they're leather, but they've gone. And by gone, what I mean is there's holes in them. I apologise for the noise of the A24. I'm actually walking parallel to it. That said, so the boots will still take on water, which is why I need some different type of boots. And it's sad about Jeffrey's boots. However, the idea of the gaiters, as far as I'm aware, is to stop the splashes of water getting onto your trousers and or to the top of the boots and penetrating through the top. So if you're doing particularly, I suppose, long distance walks where the weather is changeable and you just don't know, they are a lightweight thing to put into a haversack and carry with you and change into. Although I have to say, this is the first time I've ever worn gaiters, and it was a bit of a faff getting into them. You unzip them and you do the Velcro and all of that, but once you've got used to it, it'll be all right. So I'm in a field here with a terrific view, well, wouldn't say a terrific view, but a view down over here. The trees, of course, are still denuded. It's still winter. But I'm going to make my way up this bit, which I gather is a muddy path. I've never been up here. And I was just talking to a lady who follows the channel, so hello to you, who told me that this was blocked because it was too muddy and too wet, too slippery. So I think by the time we get through the next kissing gate up here, we will see whether the Gaiters are going to do their job or not. Let's hope so. I'm certainly regretting walking next to the A24. We're supposed to be in lockdown and few people travelling, but you wouldn't believe that. But anyway, my gaiters haven't got dirty at all. I probably need somewhere a lot more muddy, but not only is it the mud, of course it's protecting water splashing up, so I haven't been through any puddles. But not to worry. Look at all this amazing lichen here. Different types of lichen. Now somebody very kindly, Woody Jenny, sent me some books, one of which included lichen and mosses. Lichen here and moss down here. It's got all the names, but by golly, I think I could identify them or even remember those names. Trying to remember the names of some of the trees is hard enough. These are beech trees along here, and I can see that from the beech buds, which are slowly coming here into bud. And this one actually is an ash tree. So that's a beech and this is an ash. You can always tell ash because ash, I don't know how clearly you can see that on this camera, has this bud right at the top, this sort of almost like an arrow head on the top. And as I mentioned before, they curve upwards. So there's a mixture here of beech. Again, this is a beech, very different from the ash. All along this, and this drops down here quite a steep embankment, which is level with a drop off the north face of the downs on the A24. And Washington, where I started, is literally just over there. But it's fascinating to see all these amazing trees. The rain is now beginning to pour, and I have only my trusty Harris tweed jacket to keep me dry. I don't mind. I don't mind a bit of rain on the head. It's good for you. Getting noisy again now, the build-up of the traffic there, and also getting quite slippery down here. And I guess if you do slip over, that's where your gaiters are protecting the bottom of your trousers. That's quite handy. There is a fence along here covered in ivy and moss. There's a lot of it. This is quite dangerous little walk coming down here. I think this is what this lady was talking about, the fact that trees had come down and they've had to clear the path. They probably got blown down in the gale. And of course, all I can say is, it's a shame I haven't got my van nearer. Of course, I wouldn't go poaching wood. Obviously, this all belongs to somebody. But hopefully, you know, either it gets left here or it gets used for something. It's a shame. It's always a shame when a tree falls down. There's some steps here. We can get through, luckily. And I'll be interested to see where this goes, actually. I've not done this. I thought I could get across the... Oh, yes, I thought I could get across the bridge, but of course, stupidly, I've crossed the bridge, so I may just, in the end, have to walk back. But it's nice to explore a completely new path. All these little saplings here. I don't know what these are. To look at the other trees. Just wondering if they're... I think these are ash as well. I think they're ash or oaks. Just looking at the... Oh yes, no, ash. Definitely ash. Oh, lovely. I've moved away now from the road, protected by a large bank behind me, and scrambling up a hillside. Actually, I think I was a bit confused in where my end point was. Of course, I will be crossing the A24, but not on the bridge, of course, on foot on the South Downs Way. I got myself in a bit of a fug there. So look at these. Got catkins here. I think this is hazel. They're coming out, which is lovely to see. And of course, I've gone through some long grass, and actually that was fortuitous because that showed me another reason for wearing the gaiters, because in the rain, of course, the long grass gets wet, and that wet scuffs against the bottom of your trousers. So another reason that gaiters are useful. So I'm learning. But I'm actually heading away from the A24. Presumably I'm going to find a bit that takes me up that way and then back across. But that's okay. It's just drizzle at the moment, so I don't mind a bit of drizzle. Lemon drizzle would be much better, of course. This is hard work, but good for the old heart, definitely. Clambering up the last bit now, up to the top of these very steep slope on the north face of the Downs, here to the west of Washington, through this beautiful woodland. I'm going to come back and do this walk again from the other direction. Whoops, nearly went then. The Gaiters, I think, have been a success. Once I get to the top, I'll cross the A24, get onto the old London road, takes me back down to Washington, and that will be that. I feel my glasses are either steaming up or they're... I've only got the one eye, so the one lens is a bit blurred, so I can barely see. But we're following this path slowly, very slippery and muddy, and so I'm thrilled the Gaiters are doing what they're supposed to do and protecting my jeans. Grand. So yes, it will be a joy to come back and explore this woodland in a bit more detail when it's drier and less slippery. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry, Jeffrey, about your boots, but well done, Barry. The Gaiters are a success. So I'll be wearing them again, I'm sure. But from here, on the way up to the South Downs Way, where I've done walks recently, and I'll link to them again if I remember. Take care, look after yourself, stay safe and all that nonsense, and if you can get out and enjoy the countryside, please do. Remember to adhere to the path, shut the gates and all of that. But from me, take care. See you next time. Bye bye. Ooh.